Will Pete Rose prices soar? Or not at all? Find out on today's episode of Baseball King Collectibles. Hi everybody, welcome back to the show, welcome back to the channel. All you newcomers, if you don't know, I'm an in-person autograph collector for many years, baseball card collector, you celebrities, everybody, Hall of Fame, anybody who has a celebrity, I would get their autograph, baseball, football, basketball, no matter who. In person only though. And I don't like paying for autographs, not my thing either. But let's talk about Pete Rose and the value of his autographs today. Because now that he's got a chance, let's say a chance to be in the Hall of Fame, is not guaranteed, even though we all know he would have been a first-time ballot Hall of Fame on regular circumstances. But will he get into the Hall of Fame? Of course. I mean, I can't see how he not. But will he get on in his first try, which is not until the earliest would be 2027 in December, when that's the Classic Era Committee does their voting. And you got to get 12 out of 16 members of that committee to say yes to Pete Rose. And if he only gets 11, you're not in. And then he has to wait another 4 to 5 years. So at the earliest would be an induction ceremony would be July 2028 if he gets 12 of those votes the previous December. Hopefully he does. There could be some bit of, I don't know who's on the committee. They don't know until, a year or so before. You won't know who's on the committee, but could be some bitter people on there who just hardliners who will say, hey, no. But I can't see it. I really don't see it. I pretty much he's a shoo-in, I would say. If he doesn't get all 16, I'll be surprised. Really, I will. But, I could see 1 or 2 holding out. 14 votes he'll get, maybe 13 I could see also. So, all right. Will this increase his value? Will this do anything to his value? If he gets in, like I said, there's no guarantee. And like I said, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. So his prices shouldn't go up yet. Nothing. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. He's there? Not yet. But like I said, we're all about Hall of Famers. Most of the collectors are. And currently, the modern age, the craze is, get the guy's rookie card before he's the Hall of Famer. You're just speculating. So you're really going after Hall of Famers only. So this is one of the big names in all of baseball history, Pete Rose, of course. And like I said, who signed more autographs than Pete Rose? Right? Let's say, who signed more? This guy signed... When the shows started coming around, he was there every show. He was every. Once he retired from baseball, he was every show you could imagine he was at. And then he opened up his own restaurant in Florida in Boca Raton. He was there. He did a radio show there every night. How many autographs did he sign nightly there? For a fee. Just an enormous amount. And then he had a residency in Las Vegas, like a singer, like he was Elvis. He had his own table. He just sat there all day long. You come up to him, whatever the fee was, at the time. I'm sure the prices changed over the years. That's all he did was sign his name all day, all night, all day. And I'm sure he signed a lot of freebies along the way too. But who signed more than Pete Rose? I don't know. So, being that said, his autograph's really not worth more than, 50 to 100, depending on what you get it on. It's not a big name autograph because of the amount that he signed. But... all right, but there's always a but to this, right? He's, he signed everything, bats, balls, photos, everything. It's just over the years. Will that go up in price? No, unless he wrote HOF 28 on it. I doubt he ever did that. And you will see things with HOF question mark on it written. He wrote a lot of that, but that's no big value. But again, if you have him on a bat with other Hall of Famers, will that change the scenario of the price? Let's see. Look at this bat. I got this bat about a year now. I purchased it online. It was a spur-of-the-moment bat, a Hall of Fame purchase. It's got 50 somewhat signatures on here. And Pete Rose is right over here, as you can see. He's right there. And, it's got all the big names. Aaron Mays, Musial, Ted Williams. I don't believe it's got no Mantle. It's got everybody else but Mantle. It's just got everybody. But now it's got Rose, and it's on a Hall of Fame bat. All right? Now, plenty of these people, everybody has this bat. A lot of people. It's a common bat with a lot of signatures on it. Very common. How many have Rose on it? How many put Pete Rose on their bat? I don't know anybody. But this bat did. So I bought it online as a speculation about a year ago. Paid like $1,000 for this bat, it was like a $2,000 bat. Just sold quick. It was a buy it now, real quick. The guy wanted his money real fast, and that was it. So, what's it worth now? Does this bat increase because of Rose's name on this bat? Right before his name was on this bat, it kind of devalued the verse. Really. Pete Rose is not a Hall of Famer. He doesn't belong on the bat, right? Doesn't belong there. Really, the value is not there. But, again, I speculated personally myself, okay? Over 30 plus years ago, I speculated. This is my personal bat where I got every single signature on this bat personally, in person myself, okay? And as you can see, there's Pete, all the big names on here. You know, you can see, I'll go through the bat here real slow. You can see all the big names. You guys can read, right? You guys can read script? Most of you can, but... And look, bigger than everybody else's name, he put it on there. And everybody, all my friends, my personal friends said, oh, no, why'd you do that? Why'd you put Rose's name on it? I said, well, he just got suspended. It wasn't that long ago. It was only maybe a year or two into the suspension when I added his name. I said, because one day he's going to get in the Hall of Fame. It's not permanent. I was a band, whatever, lifetime. But yeah, they'll take that off eventually. Soon. Pete Rose, right? It won't be forever. But it did last forever, okay? And over the years, I kind of kept looking at this bat. Every time I looked at this bat, I don't look at it that often. It's away. It's in a tube, and it's not showcased anywhere in my house. But every time I looked at it, I go, damn, why did I do the Rose name? Why? But bingo, paid off finally. Tell you guys, I should have did it. You should have did it too. To my friends who didn't. So, all right, now they're going to look at this bat and go, damn, I should have put it on there too. So, yes, this bat is now my favorite. Probably my collection, because look, there's Pete Rose and there's the Hall of Fame logo, and this wasn't even recent. This was in the early 90s, I believe, right after his suspension. So much for that, right? So does that increase the value of that bat? Absolutely. For my opinion, for my value and all that, it does increase the value. I don't know how much, but whatever it is, Pete Rose. How many are there out there though? That's the thing. How many are out there? I mean, I'm looking online. What else am I going to find with Pete Rose? With other Hall of Fame signatures, I'm finding a couple things on eBay, but those prices are, they probably put them on a while ago. They don't even think to raise the price now. There's very little on here. This was even I had the letter on that first bat that I showed you with the 50 plus. That was a really, 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 that was a great buy. I'm definitely selling this. See, this one I could sell. I have no physical attachment to it. I don't know how any of these names got on this bat. I wasn't there. I didn't see any of it. Oh, I know it's certified. It's real. It's got it on the handle there too. It's real. No problem with that. It's a Hall of Fame bat from Cooperstown. But this bat, I bought in Cooperstown. I went personally to Cooperstown. All right. This bat was purchased in Cooperstown with the sole intention of putting all these names on it. All right. So that was the goal. And I put as many as I can on. I stopped a while ago now. Oh, because, well, now, first of all, the prices got really heavy. Second of all, forget the prices. There were no shows. You hit the mid-90s, the baseball card shows just collapsed, really. Into the 2000s, there was nothing going on. There was no shows. It was hard to get anybody around, and there was nothing. Even the autographs now. I went to a show a couple weeks ago. You see that, we watched that video. The autograph, the 45-minute guests, 45-minute signing. I go, wow, how many can you sign in a minute? 1, 2 a minute? How many people are going to be on this line? They're going to get turned down. I was shocked. I got there. There's Dale Murphy, maybe 15 people online when I got there, and then the line disappeared quick. And that was at the beginning. Dwight Gooden, there was nobody online. John Rocco was there. Andy Van Sykes, Jack McDowell. There was nobody on their lines at all. Maybe 1 or 2 people would stroll up to them, but there was no lines. So the autograph shows are dead, I think, as far as autographs go, in my opinion. Nobody wants modern autographs no more because you can't read these guys' names. You can't get them certified unless you get them, buy it. You cannot get an in-person autograph of anybody these days and get it certified. It's just impossible. So anyway, getting back to Rose, will these bats go up in value because he's on a Hall of Fame bat? Absolutely, positively, in my opinion, and I believe they will. And I believe, well, they should have already gone up if they haven't. But yeah, once he absolutely gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, which he will, and it should be 2028. If not, that will be one of the shocking things in baseball, too. Can you imagine all this waiting, and then the committee doesn't let him in? That would be really wow. It would be like, whoa. We wouldn't know what to say at that point. So anyway, guys, please subscribe, please like, please share, please do all that stuff. Come back, watch another video, do all that stuff, and tell your friends, and all that fun stuff. And come back again on the next episode of Baseball King Collectibles.